Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, Amari's Revenge. The goddess next door is confronted by a Nubian queen out for revenge at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in this inaugural Isis series adventure. Get your copy of Isis, Amari's Revenge in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. An Oklahoma City man was arrested for attempting to rob a woman who was looking to meet with him to sell him some Balenciaga sneakers in an offer-up sale.
Anna's behind bars tonight after an offer-up sale turned into an armed robbery. Fox 25's Katie Arata spoke with police. Katie, what did they tell you?
Yeah, Wendy, Oklahoma City police say the suspect was meeting with a woman who was selling a pair of Balenciaga shoes online. When they met up and she came over to his car window to show him those shoes, things escalated. People sell clothing items online through websites like OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace every day. But police say last weekend an Oklahoma City woman was nearly shot over a $500 pair of Balenciaga shoes.
It was Saturday evening around 7 p.m. that police responded to a robbery call. This was near Rockwell and Northwest Expressway. The victim indicated that she was there to meet with a person that wanted to buy some shoes. According to police, the victim said she was selling a pair of Balenciaga shoes on OfferUp when she was contacted by someone with the username Turbo, who was later identified by police as 21-year-old Tabor Carter. Police said Carter wanted to meet and look at the shoes, so they planned to meet at 7-Eleven, but he never showed up. The victim then went down the street to T-Mobile when Carter messaged her asking where she was, so she told him to meet her there. The victim indicated she was there to sell some shoes to the suspect. During that exchange, the suspect pulled out a firearm, demanded the property from the victim.
The victim told police she gave Carter the shoes and he immediately began driving off. But before he could get away, she quickly reached in the car's open window and grabbed one of the shoes.
Ultimately fled in the vehicle, was only able to get away with some of the property, one of the shoes, not both shoes.
Later that day, police located Carter and arrested him after a short chase.
He ultimately crashed out following that vehicle pursuit, was admitted to the hospital, but will be booked into jail after he leaves there. In Oklahoma City, police warn anyone who is meeting up to sell items, do it in a public place with lots of cameras. The best place for that? Your local police station. Reporting live in Oklahoma City, Katie Arata, Fox 25 News.
Now, in this alleged incident, 21-year-old Tabor Turbo Carter saw a pair of Balenciaga sneakers that cost over $1,000 on the website OfferUp for sale. And after seeing these sneakers on the website OfferUp for sale, he made an arrangement to purchase these sneakers by meeting with the woman who was offering the sneakers in a public location at a 7-Eleven. Now, as this woman was looking to meet with him to pick up these sneakers in this OfferUp transaction, what Tabor Turbo Carter did was he didn't show up at the location that they originally agreed to meet at the 7-Eleven, where there would be a lot of witnesses. No, he decided to meet with this woman at a new location that he text messaged her, and as they met at that location, he allegedly pulled a Glock firearm, and as he pulled this Glock firearm, he pointed it at this woman's head and demanded the sneakers, and the woman surrendered the property. However, as Tabor Carter was allegedly looking to pull away, the woman snatched one of the sneakers, and he wound up driving away, afraid of getting caught. And after police were contacted, they soon found Tabor Turbo Carter sleeping in his vehicle a couple of miles away. And when police looked to wake up Tabor Carter, he allegedly started to try to drive away, wound up hitting a tree or electrical post. And as he hit this electrical post, what happened with Tabor Turbo Carter is he caused a small fire and a power outage as his car crashed into this pole, And police then arrested Tabor Turbo Carter with a series of injuries to his face, including a swollen shut eye, which were presented in his mugshot. Now, the Oklahoma City police are seeing this whole incident over this attempted robbery of these Balenciaga sneakers as an isolated incident. But when I take a critical examination of the alleged actions of Tabor Turbo Carter, they definitely fit the pattern and profile for beta males that I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. And it's clear to me that Tabor Turbo Carter is one of these beta males who was possibly raised in a single mother household. And in that environment, this boy basically grew up with low self-esteem because he didn't learn to value himself, because his father never instilled a sense of intangible as related to his character, as related to his intangibles of his manhood, such as his dignity, his self-respect, and a sense of self-worth. And because he didn't have any of these intangibles, what he learned from this dysfunctional environment was to value property as having a higher value than himself. And this was the motivation for him to possibly look to participate in this attempted robbery of these Balenciaga sneakers. Now, when it comes to these beta males, they oftentimes look to these high value attachments to elevate their social status, and I go in depth on that in The Man Crisis and another book I wrote called Stop Simping: Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance. And what these beta males look to do is they look to elevate their social status by having these high value attachments, and they believe that if they have these high value attachments, this will make them appear to be someone who is more popular socially, and they believe that this will allow them to become more popular. Now, this is a covert contract that the beta male makes with people, and people don't really know about this, but this is what they believe these items will do. They believe that these items will allow them to enter into higher social circles and gain acceptance from other people. However, these items have no real value outside of what the person puts on them. Unfortunately, in the mind of the beta male, they believe that having these items are going to be able to elevate their social status and self-worth. And because they want these items, what they are willing to do is basically compromise their character in order to get them. And that's what happened here with this guy, Tabor Turbo Carter. He wanted these items, like these Balenciaga sneakers, because he believed that this would elevate his social status by having these designer sneakers, and he believed that these designer sneakers would allow him to get attention and approval from other members of his peer group, and he thought that this would make him somebody who would be a quote-unquote more popular person, and he was willing to go to extreme lengths to get these sneakers by, I believe, lying from the beginning with malice aforethought when he contacted this seller, because he never intended to ever buy these sneakers, and he looked to go about trying to steal these sneakers by looking to change the location, which is a red flag when it comes to participating in online sales, because if you have a location that is known to be a public place like a 7-Eleven, most people would meet there because it was safe, and if that person wanted to change the location and not show up to the location, that would be a red flag, because that would say, okay, this person really isn't serious about the sale. But this woman, I don't think she really knew much about how these situations work, and when he decided to say that he wanted to go to another location, that was a red flag for a setup for a robbery, because he took her from a location in a public place to a location that was far off from people, and this is how he set up the robbery. And the reason why he set up the robbery was because he was desperate to get this item as an attachment, and as he was desperate to get this attachment to elevate his social status, and also wanted to possibly get some street cred by participating in this robbery, this is where this Pookie basically had this cockamamie scheme to steal the sneakers. However, this scheme to steal the sneakers wound up falling apart showing how weak a male this was, because even with a gun, he could not get this robbery done, and as a result, he wound up speeding away with one sneaker, and as he sped away with that one sneaker, he wound up losing something more than these $1,000 sneakers. No, he basically lost his dignity because he put these sneakers at a higher value than the intangibles of his manhood, like his dignity, because he had basically compromised his dignity to get these sneakers, and he showed how little self-worth he had because he was willing to commit a crime to get these sneakers, and he basically wound up losing his freedom at the end of the day by attempting to steal these sneakers. And as he got arrested and he got severely injured, showing how sad this whole situation was. I mean, this dude, in his quest for clout, wound up ironically not becoming famous with this attachment of sneakers with his peer group, but became infamous, and became infamous for being emasculated during the robbery, and then became humiliated as he had to post up this photo of himself with scratches on his face and a swollen shut eye. I mean, this guy went out here, he was Turbo Carter, looking to go in the fast lane as related to elevating his social status by participating in his crime, and now he's in the county jail slowly waiting for justice, and everything is going to get accelerated once they get a conviction on him, and he winds up in the penitentiary. And this is where Tabor Turbo Carter will be taking a detour to a very dark place where he's going to learn about the whole social hierarchy of the criminal justice system and the whole hierarchy of the prison, as he has to deal with the authority of the COs, and he's going to have to deal with the social hierarchy of Bubba, Tiny, Roscoe, Big Dave, Melvin, and Mr. Sprinkles. And there he is going to have to deal with the whole situation of social attachments, as he's basically going to find out that he's going to be dealing with several transactions for his front side and his backside as they turn the tight end into a wide receiver, as they trade him for Little Debbie snack cakes, ramen noodles, packets of Crystal Light lemonade, packets of Crystal Light tea, Taster's Choice coffee, off-brand fruit punch, off-brand grape drink, off-brand orange drink, Kit Kat candy bars, Fritos chips, off-brand Oreo cookies, off-brand lemon cookies, off-brand duplex cookies, off-brand ginger snaps, off-brand ginger wafers, off-brand ginger snaps, and Snyder's pretzels, Hunt snack pack puddings. He's just gonna get turned out by Bubba, Tiny, Roscoe, Big Dave, Melvin, and Mr. Sprinkles, and he's going to learn all about the attachments that he's traded for as they turn the tight end and his mouth into wide receivers, and Mr. Sprinkles finishes everything off with a spray of special sauce on the front side and the back side, and he splits the cheeks open and shows everybody how the backside looks like the inside of a glazed donut. And it's there that he will realize that this pair of Balenciaga sneakers basically cost him more than what he thought. And the sad part is that this guy, again, will learn these hard lessons in the penitentiary at 21 years old. I mean, this dude basically threw away his freedom over a pair of used sneakers, that basically only cost about $4 to make in China or Vietnam, and are brought here and have a dollar value put on them by a designer. And again, this man basically lost more than those sneakers cost in that factory, all because he was not taught about having a sense of self-esteem or self-worth, to understand there are things that are more valuable than a pair of sneakers. And what's more valuable than a pair of sneakers for a man is having the sense of self-worth, to understand that you have value because God made you as a man, And if you trust in the Most High God, He will find a way for you to be able to get what you want. He will bless you with what you want, but you have to trust in Him. That's what this young man was never taught. And because he was never taught this, he got low self-esteem and low self-worth to the point where he was thinking, I'll just go try to jack these kicks. And now he's gone from looking to jack kicks to getting kicked in the backside, and possibly other more horrible things done inside of the Oklahoma City jail and possibly the Oklahoma penitentiary. I mean, this male basically went from being a free man to being a man who's going to be in a further crisis in the criminal justice system, all because he wanted to go out here and think he could take somebody else's old sneakers. I mean, old sneakers that possibly were in the back of this woman's closet, because if you're out here looking to sell sneakers like this, usually people, what they do, they bought these sneakers a while back. They possibly were sitting in their closet, and they were just looking to offer up those sneakers and get rid of them. But now that there's what's happening to this guy is that Bubba, Tiny, Roscoe, Big Dave, and Mr. Sprinkles are going to be offering up this dude inside of the penitentiary. And this is the final fate that can happen to a man who doesn't have a father in his life, or people who care about him to tell him that there are things far more valuable than some merchandise, because this is the hard lesson that a lot of people missed out on back in the 80s when this boy was out here in the streets. I mean, when his grandparents were in the streets, because I'm a part of that generation where they talked about how these Air Jordan sneakers back in 1988, $100 were back then, and I saw a lot of brothers basically out here losing their lives over these sneakers that only cost $4 to make in a Chinese or Vietnamese factory, and other men losing their freedom over these sneakers that they hoped would allow them to elevate their social status, and also hope to elevate their social status by committing crimes to get these sneakers. And what's sad is that almost 3 generations later, the lesson hasn't been learned, because we got guys like this Tabor Turbo Carter looking to live the fast life by taking a detour on the road to crime, and like their grandfathers, winding up crashing into a wall that leads to them having a possible felony conviction, and even worse done to them in these prisons over sneakers that are made by some designer at some corporation, where they are getting rich at your expense, and even getting richer by laughing at black folks who go out here and participate in these crimes, because you basically are putting your dignity up and saying that these sneakers have higher value than you. And that's what's happened to this boy, who at 21 years old basically wound up throwing away his freedom for a pair of sneakers. And this is the saddest story as related to this 21-year-old man. He basically went from, again, a man who had his freedom to a man who's on the road to becoming a man who's going to be in a serious crisis in that Oklahoma prison system. Now, if you want to learn what leads to many of these males being motivated to participate in crimes like this, and why they participate in this type of dysfunctional road, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Man Crisis at other online booksellers in digital format like Draft to Digital, Smashwords, the iBookstore, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and you can also find it at big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you want to also learn why guys like this clout chase, you can pick up my other book, Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. And it's also available at all the other online booksellers like Draft to Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, and Target. And it's also available in audiobook along with The Man Crisis. You can get both of these books in audiobook as well at Amazon and at the audiobook website. And if you want to see me make more videos about The Man Crisis, you can send a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Coming to paperback and e-readers, ISIS Dark Incubus. the goddess next door gets enthralled in a romantic entanglement with an evil incubus in this all-new ISIS series adventure. Pre-order your copy of ISIS Dark Incubus at Amazon.com and other online booksellers everywhere. Coming to paperback and e-readers, Esteem Horror in the Hamptons. The aspiring angel tries to escape a house of horrors in this all-new Esteem series adventure. Pre-order your copy of Esteem Horror in the Hamptons in digital format at Amazon.com, Google Play, Draft the Digital, and other digital booksellers, or pick up your paperback copy on May 24th. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes' Illuminati. The man who rules the world takes on the head of the global elite in this all-new action-packed John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes' Illuminati in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.